Hello, and welcome to Real Menopause Talk. My guest today is Kate Stober, a once professional ballerina who has danced in the UK and Russia. She's now a dance teacher who lives in London with her 3 kids, her husband, and her dog Sydney. We had a chat to discuss the menopause. Hey, good morning and lovely to see you.
Good morning.
How are you? How was your weekend?
Oh, it was brilliant, thank you. It was really nice. It was very relaxed. Got my act together.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background.
Well, my background is born in Essex, Chelmsford, moved to Hampshire when I was 5. I went to local primary school, youngest of 4. I'm quite a lot the youngest, and they were all away at school. And then when I was 10, I then went off to a boarding school, dancing school, and I was there from 10 till 16, and then went up to London and joined the English National Ballet School for 2 years. During that time, I went off to Russia to train with the Vaganova in St. Petersburg, which is a very interesting time because it was during sort of perestroika, so it was to have my little ration books and little ration ticket and to queue up for my bread and things. It was mad. And then came back and then joined the English National Ballet Company, gave up ballet, then did all sorts of fill-in jobs, went traveling to Africa for 3 months, came back, did a business degree, which took 3 years. I thought, oh God, what am I going to do? And then I set up a ballet school with my friend, and that's what I've been doing. And then I got married, had 3 children of my own, and here we are.
As a professional dancer, from what I understand, you traditionally have to remain on the very thin side. Was this the case? Did you find this, and did it affect your periods as you were growing up?
Absolutely. When I was 16, it's when you start auditioning to go further, to do it professionally. I auditioned for the Royal Ballet School, upper school, and they said, yes, we'd love to take you, but actually we'd like you to lose a few pounds. And I was absolutely gobsmacked. I was devastated. And I thought, oh, nobody's ever said anything like that to me before. Loved my food. And at that point, I thought, well, sod you, I'm going to lose the weight and then I'm going to stick my fingers up and go, well, I don't want to come here anyway. So that's what I did. So I went away and I had sort of 1 helping instead of 2 and started eating brown bread and, all the sensible stuff. And did lose weight, went back and they said, yes, lovely, we'll have you. And I said, well, you can shove it up your arse. I'm not coming anyway. And so then I went off to the English National Ballet School. Mm-hmm. And then during that time, I don't know how far in it was, me and a couple of other girls were taken to one side. You've been on the heavy side. I think you need to lose a bit of weight. And I was thinking, what is this? And so it was that at that point I thought, well, fuck you, I'm going to properly lose weight. You want me to be thin, just wait and see. And so I stopped eating. I mean, not completely, but I'd have sort of a bowl of cereal and an apple for about a year, lost a hell of a lot of weight. And then, I mean, it's so awful looking back, and the thinner I got, the more, gosh, you look amazing. Oh yeah, you've got to get a scholarship. You look wonderful. Here's a scholarship to go to Bakirov. I mean, I've seen pictures of me. I mean, it's horrendous. But I didn't have any support. My period stopped. I mean, thank God things have changed now and that there's nutrition. Anyway, that's not why we're here. But you know what I mean? It was, 16-year-old. I mean, very, very dangerous. And if it hadn't been for my non-dancing friends, I think I would have tipped over into the anorexic zone, most certainly, because it becomes a control thing and it's really dangerous. And actually, it was my brother that I went home once and I remember sitting on his bed and he started crying and said, you've got hair, you're all hairy and I'm so worried about you. And actually, I just thought, this is actually really selfish. It's not about me. anymore. You know what I mean? As my period stopped. And then I joined the company, and then I became sort of a bit more normal as in ballet speak. It wasn't normal like now, eating properly and healthily, because nobody really did. But yeah, my period stopped. Luckily, they started again, and I was able to have children.
Coming up to current day, whereabouts are you on your menopause journey?
Well, I was aware of the menopause and the perimenopause because of my two older sisters. One is 10 years older than me and the other 7 years older than me. So they'd sort of been through it. And I remember them saying, oh, gosh, my hot flushes. And actually, I don't know whether it was exacerbated for them because they had overactive thyroids. And one of them had hers taken out. And my other sister, she became ill. So she was sort of rushed through it and beyond, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
She came over the other side more quickly than perhaps she should have done. So really, that's why I was aware of it. I mean, my mother, I can't remember it being a thing particularly. I don't know whether it's an old wives' tale, but apparently if you start your periods late, which I think I possibly did in normal terms, I was around 14 when I started my periods, which is quite late, I think. So apparently if you start your periods late, you start the menopause journey later. I don't know whether that's true or not. And I know my mother started her periods late, and all of us, my family, are quite late developers. Some of my friends who are older than me started the flushes more recently. I absolutely know what they're talking about.
So what have been your most significant symptoms?
Well, I had a bit of the, oh my God, I'm so hot, that sort of thing. Just sort of watching the telly and suddenly, whoa, this sort of, heat that sort of invades your body. And the other thing was my itchy scalp, a really itchy head. And I actually thought it was nits because my youngest daughter often has nits, which is great. And so I obviously thought that I caught them from her, and I was sort of itching like anything. So I regularly do my hair, but nothing, no nits at all. And then I heard that an itchy scalp is one of the symptoms. And with regards to mood swings, I've always had mood swings. I've always been massively up and down. So that's quite hard to tell, because I've got, my more even-keeled friends, it's more noticeable for them because it's, oh my God, what's the matter with me? I really lost my temper with the children. Well, don't we always do that? I mean, isn't that a normal thing? So it wasn't that side of things. I don't know whether it's menopause or whether it's just me being mad.
And are you finding there is good support within your friends?
Yes, very much so. My older friends, they've been talking about it maybe a couple of years ago, and I'd sort of nod and say, but not really get it, because I hadn't had any flushes or itchy head at that stage. But more recently I have.
And have you found that you've needed support outside of talking?
Well, it's really manageable. I mean, I don't think it's been that much of a big deal for me, because for one thing, I know a lot of friends, their periods have become really irregular, and when they do, it'd be really, really heavy and horrible. I mean, I really feel for them. But I've got the Marina coil, and I've had it since I was 10. Since my for 10 years, and so that's another thing. And also, I go cold water swimming, so I don't know whether that keeps my body temperature down.
I've heard wonderful things about cold water swimming being great for hormones and certainly menopause symptom control. And yes, the Marina coil, given that it adds progesterone into your system in place of taking progesterone tablets or gel or other forms of progesterone. So that already possibly stands you in really good stead.
I mean, I say cold water swimming, it's more like sort of cold water flailing. I sort of jump in and flap about a bit. But it's great. It does make you feel brilliant. I've got some great friends locally who started going to Tooting Lido, and so there was quite a posse of us, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll definitely get into this. I like the way it makes me feel afterwards.
Would you say that your experience of period stopping so amenorrhea, while you were dancing, and then them being reintroduced to you as you regained a more healthy weight, having children. Do you think that's had any historical impact on the fact that you've been able to cope then so far with perimenopause?
Well, I don't know. I don't know because my periods came back, when I was in my sort of early 20s. So the period of time was quite short when my periods stopped. And then when I went back into sort of normal life, and then I started having children. So, and then obviously, have periods during that time. I don't know because I, had the coil. So, I suppose I haven't had a lot of periods really. You know what I mean? I don't know whether I've sort of dampened it down by having the coil. I think I've probably had quite an easy time of it really compared to some. But I don't know also because I've suffered depression all my life. I take the serotonin enhancer, the antidepressant. I've had that for God knows how long. I suppose I should be coming off it at some point, but I'm in no rush. So I don't know whether that helps as well. It's the whole combination of things that maybe's helped me. And yes, and surrounded by friends that have gone through it before me. So you're sort of forewarned, and it helps to be more aware of it, I think.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And again, I've heard from most people that being forewarned is forearmed, and certainly having a good support network is absolutely invaluable. Having other women around you, particularly if they have experienced it, is almost the best therapy you can ever hope for.
It's key to be honest about it. Because
Yes.
if you're sort of pretending that everything's okay and other people aren't, they'll think, oh, they're okay and I'm not. So it's nice to actually put it out there.
Have you found there's been any one overwhelming experience of the women around you who you have been speaking to?
I think mood swings for some has been really difficult, saying that their relationships are being tested hugely. And I think also it's so cruel, isn't it? Because we get to this stage in our lives and a lot of us have got teenage children, our parents are dying, we're at a place in our career, perhaps we've had the same career since we left university, and we're at that stage where you think, well, I'm not so old that I can't get another job or start a new career, but you've had children or whatever and you've lost your confidence. So you'll feel a bit stuck in a rut at this stage. Massive generalization, I'm sure many are flying, but it's a really tricky time. And you find yourself sitting at home thinking, is this it? Is this really it? And actually, that's the other symptom for me, my boobs. My boobs have grown, which is actually quite a nice thing. I've never really had boobs, so I don't mind that symptom. That's quite a good one. For some, your body changes and it's awkward, and you can't fit into the clothes you used to wear, and you feel invisible. And it's just this sort of time in our life is tricky. One of my sisters, she, like I said, her body changed enormously, and some people find that very hard, but she's really embraced it. It depends on your mindset, She's embracing it and says, well, I'm 50 plus, sod it, this is who I am. It could be a lot worse. It's just embracing the change.
And the very fact that actually we've got maybe a third to 2/3 of the rest of our life ahead of us, which could be this wonderful, exhilarating freedom time, should indicate that it's not all over. We're not past it. Do you feel you can equip your daughters for the future in any way that means their confidence will be more?
Absolutely. We're so more aware than our predecessors because we talk about stuff. We ring up our friends and say, oh, I'm feeling really shit. We talk, and I try and talk to my children. I mean, obviously it's hard and they don't really want to talk to me, but I'd like them to think that I'm around and ready to talk when they are. I think the whole thing around mental health, which is all joined up with this, is very helpful, I think, for them to know about it and actually to witness us having our hot flushes and seeing us going through it, but being okay is a good thing, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. How about your husband?
Well, I did mention the other day, I said, I feel very hot. I think it might be my perimenopause. And he just sort of smiled and didn't say anything. I don't think he's aware of it at all. Not a clue. And for me, I don't really mind. It's not really going to get it. It's like being pregnant. I mean, it's just just don't know. I don't really talk about it to him. There's not much to say except that I've got an itchy scalp and I think it might be something to do with it's not nits and I think it's my time of life. And they're used to my mood swings.
Is there anything that you would like to change about the way menopause or even the way that women's bodies function, the perception of it in society?
I think it is changing. I think it started to become, people are talking about it more. I think the more that people talk and do these podcasts and things, I think the better. Definitely.
Talking is absolutely crucial for knowledge, for awareness, for understanding, both for ourselves going through it, but also the women who have yet to experience it. Do you have a tip that you would give anybody who hasn't yet hit this stage?
That is a very good question. It's difficult, isn't it, to give advice because everybody's different. And if you do give advice, you tend to be really irritating. Say, well, I don't know why she said that because that didn't happen for me. You know what I mean? So you have to be a little bit careful. I would say, so it's really dull, but keep active as much as you possibly can and listen to your body and not get too whirled up about it, because you're not necessarily going to have a hard time with it, and to keep talking to friends who have been through it. I mean, the thing is, it's such a personal thing because some people like to talk about it and some people don't. We all know people on both sides. For me, I think, just keep talking about it. And it does get better. It's not forever, you know.
Is there anything else that you would like to add?
Be kind. Be kind. Be aware and know that it's something that does happen to women of our age. Yeah, and don't expect the worst. It doesn't necessarily happen for everyone. But I would recommend cold water swimming.
Thank you, Kate, and thank you for joining us. For more information, for the blog and for resources, please go to the website realmenopause.com. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.